Beretta APX, take 2. Loading up magazines right now, and I'm going to show you guys the very first shots with the new frame I just put on, which is in wolf gray. And I like the way colored frames look. I've never owned one, but something about this wolf gray with that black backstrap, it just still looks good, and cut me a little slack. If I'm used to black guns and I don't want to go to the extreme, gray's kind of neutral, so it's like light black. I just like the way it looks. I think it looks really nice, and I hear you shoot 6% better with the gray frame than any other color, so I hope that's true. While I'm loading these mags, though, I'm going to talk a little bit about the APX, and then we'll shoot some and talk some more while I'm trying to think of some things there. By the way, they're 17 round magazines, very high quality. I talked about this gun in a review I did last year. I did 2 videos on it. I did a Beretta APX, with, you know, first impressions. Then I did one that was is it a keeper, which was more of a full review. And actually the gun was a keeper, and I was sorry I let it go after I did, but you know, I worked it out with a trade, ended up selling the trade for $40 more than I'd had in the APX, so it worked out for me. I actually made 40 bucks off the deal and got to shoot it for a couple of months, and what a gun it is. And I've missed it. I mean, for a big duty size gun, it is a sweet one. Now, along with the 3 17 round magazines that came with my version, I bought a 21 rounder also. I have not fired this yet, so we're going to see how that thing runs. I expect it to run just fine. So why a duty gun? You know, why a full-size gun when the compact is out now? The Centurion is on the way, which is a Glock 19 size APX. I just love this gun and I miss it, and you know, I've been carrying it and concealing it the last couple days. It's about the same size as a Glock 17, VP9, you know, those type of guns. So if you're familiar with those, that's about how big it is. It is a little bit wider in the slide, but I don't mind that. Although it does matter. I know people say, you know, it's only 100 thousandths wider or 1/10 of an inch, and it still matters, because you have to think, guys, down that slide, if you think about being 100 thousandths or 1/8 of an inch wider, don't think of it in 2D as looking at a piece of paper. Think of it as this whole thickness. So it's a 3-dimensional, you know, measurement. And to some people, it's going to matter, and it's going to carry differently and be quite a bit thicker. So to me, I'm just not too concerned with it. The gun is a great shooter. It's so soft, and that's one of the first things I noticed last year when I bought my other one, was how soft the gun shot. Now, it's kind of making a resurgence, and I think it's because of the compact being out and getting some attention. These things, you're starting to see videos pop up on YouTube. You're starting to see reviews and people in forums talking about them, even though it's been out for like a year and a half now, something like that. And I had mine last October, sold it in November, sold it in December, I think it was. I can't remember, but I'm going to go over the features too, probably while I'm shooting, talk about some things, including those slide serrations, and I'm going to test those for you so you guys can see that the internet, it can be a place full of lies and mistruths. So I'm going to show you how well those slide serrations work. So I'm going to get my eyes and ears on. I'm going to move the camera, and you guys are going to see the first shots with the gray frame and a 21 round mag with the Beretta APX. We're going to do a little work from concealment from 10 yards on the C-zone silhouette. But first, let's get slathered up with some disgusting, gross, slimy sweat, and let's rack the slide. You know, if there are two things that people say about the APX every single time they hold one or shoot it, is that the ergonomics are incredible, some of the best they've ever felt, and it's a soft shooter. And there's a few reasons for it being such a soft shooter. One is the ergonomics. Two is the recoil spring that people call ugly and a rat's nest and everything else, but yet I want you to find me. Google Beretta APX problems, malfunctions, issues, and tell me what you come back with. I think John Farnham had a problem, but I can't remember the issue, what it was, but I don't think it was anything, it might have been operator related or something he broke, I don't remember. But you just don't find problems with the APX. So who cares what a recoil spring looks like as long as it works and it shoots soft. Now the slide also is 1.3 inches wide, the gun overall is, and that's over the ambidextrous slide release. So that's another reason that it shoots soft. 9mm, big heavy slide. Another reason is this. If you notice this overhang, the back strap here, I wish I had another pistol with me. It gets your hand closer to the center of the gun. Not only does this overhang push against your hand, which is going to help mitigate recoil, but your hand is closer to the center of the gun. So instead of sitting way out here, it's pushed back into the center of your hand more, closer to the big bones, you know, of the, it's actually closer to your body, but closer to the big bones in the arms there. So many things that Beretta got right with this gun. I mean, I went over a lot of the features in my original videos, but I know people probably aren't going to go back and watch those, so I'm just going to go over them again here. First and foremost, I love the appearance, and I said that in my other videos before. It's my favorite looking handgun, and that's even when it's just black. I love the slide serrations. I think this gun just looks incredible. It just looks like a tank, and I just love it. So it's one of those things I just made a connection with, not just the looks, but the feel and everything else. And you might be going, yeah, but you sold your last one. I did. I got $40 more out of it than I had in it. So I made money, and going by my own rule, where I told you guys before to sell your guns if you're not sure if you love them, or just get rid of them. You can always buy them again if you need to make room or figure out a roll. That's exactly what I did, and I ended up getting a better deal on this one off Gunbroker, guys. I paid $351 for this thing, brand new. Now this mag's got HST hollow points, but it came with 3 mags. It was advertised as 2, but they sent the LE version, which is 3 magazines. And as you guys saw, I got the 21 rounder also. Beretta was having a 20% off sale, so the grip frame was 40 bucks. They're usually 50, so I paid 40 bucks for that. I think the magazine was like 26 or something, you know, plus shipping. So great deal there. Taking the Beretta APX down is very easy. I kind of poked fun at people in the last videos I did on the simplicity of it, and I said how difficult it is. Now, I didn't show there are 2 ways to do it. You can either press the trigger to relieve the striker tension, or there's a button right back here you can push to release the striker, to decock it basically. I don't mind pointing it down range and pressing a trigger. The easiest way I've found to take this gun down, and I have seen people twisting, contorting, and doing all kinds of weird stuff, and all you have to do is take your thumb on the takedown lever button, press it, and then push down with your index finger, and the slide comes right off. Now this thing is beefy, full-length slide rails, typical Beretta quality. They're just really, really impressively built. These pistols are rock solid. The slide release, first of all, is out of the way. So when you take your grip, I have never had a problem hitting that slide release with my support hand. It just hasn't been an issue. It actually works. From the right side it works, and a lot of times the left side or the left-handed side does not work. And I'm not left-handed, and that was easy. So well done there, Beretta. It actually works. Very nice. While the gun is cocked, I'll show you guys the trigger. To me, it's incredible. It's amazing. I know some people are going, are you crazy? I love the trigger. And the reason is it's not a hard, stiff wall. It's a nice, smooth, rolling brake, and the brake is crisp. So I will show you. The take-up is basically taking the safety off, and there's your press. Now it's advertised at 6 pounds. and there's your reset. It's advertised at 6 pounds, but the flat face trigger and it's wide, put your finger down toward the bottom, which makes it feel lighter. But I've also seen where guys have measured theirs at 4.5 to 5. If I had to guess on mine, it might be in that 5.25 pound range. I don't think it's 5.5 or 6, but either way, it's nice and it's accurate, and it's really, really nice with that short reset for follow-up shots. It does have finger grooves. They are very mild, very, they're not cumbersome at all. You don't even realize they're there, but they do help to keep your hand, you know, nice and high up there without slipping down when you get sweaty, like I am now. We already talked about the slide serrations, which I love, and they are functional. I don't care what anybody says out there. They are functional. It does have the Picatinny rail cut out underneath the trigger guard. I know I didn't mention that in my previous videos. What I like about that is not necessarily in my mind. I know your hand is higher, your fingers are. I think more of getting cozy with the trigger guard. So getting that hand up there nice and tight so that the web of your hand is against the beaver tail, and then your middle finger is nice and tight there. And that gun is really solid in your hands. Gosh, the modularity, the fire control unit can come out a lot like the SIG P320. Now, people argue the SIG P320 is easier to get out. Yes, it is. But I would argue this: do you want that feature to be easy? Do you want it to be easy to take a fire control unit that houses a trigger out of a gun? Is it okay to just be a simple twist of a lever and pop it out easier? I don't know. And over the long term, I guess we'll see. The SIG P320 has only been out for a few years, a Beretta APX for about 1.5 years. So we'll see longevity-wise, 3 years, 5 years, 8 years down the road, especially in the military use, how the SIG P320 holds up. The magazines are 17 rounders, high quality. They load well. They're very, very, very nice. These are just great. They also, the magazines, I'll show you, have got a nice flare at the bottom so that you can grab those for magazine rip out if you had a malfunction of some type. Speaking of that, you do have a front ledge on the sights also, so if you want to rack it off a boot, a tank, a truck, a car, your pants, a belt, whatever, holster, whatever you want to rack them off of, they will work. So, have I missed anything? Gosh, guys, I don't know. Typical Beretta quality. Man. I covered the magazines, I covered the MHS trials. I think they got the wrong gun. And that's not bashing the SIG P320, but I just think that they got the wrong gun. Oh yes, the last feature, aside from the trigger that I really, really love, is the finger grooves and the ledge that they put in there. And I know there's some different opinions on the internet about rolling that wrist and using your thumb to hold the pistol down and mitigate recoil, but that happens to work for me. And if I'm pressing hard enough on my gun to push my sights offline, I shouldn't be on the trigger. So that technique works for me, and it works for guys like Aaron Cowan and gosh, there's a couple competition shooters, and I'm blank right now. I know Travis Haley used to teach it, Kyle DeFore, former Navy SEAL. And here's the thing that all those guys have in common is they're either law enforcement, foreign law enforcement, former special operators, or military. So they have either been in gunfights or have been close enough to them to know the importance of follow-up shots and recoil mitigation, etc. So those are the guys I'm going to follow. Not necessarily, you know, competition shooters. Frank Proctor's who I was trying to think of, which he has more than competition experience. That guy was also an operator, and he teaches that thumb down the slide technique. As a matter of fact, I wanted to bounce that question, kind of being introspective, and I know I'm getting off track here, but I love that feature. I love that. The Glocks have it, and I love it on the APX. So I bounced that question off Pat McNamara, and I said, the thumb on the side, you know, rolling the cam in the wrist, and I'm putting the thumb on the side of the slide on the frame. What do you think? Good technique. I like it. Do it. He's very short when he answers your emails or questions or messages. He's very short, to the point, and I like that. So he likes the technique as well, and as a 22-year veteran Delta operation, or the Delta portion of the U.S. Army there, Tier 1 Delta, you know, I take Pat's word for it as well. One feature that is kind of a point of contention for people is going to be this little pin back here that pops up when you press the trigger. People, when this gun first came out, were screaming, you'll never be able to put a red dot on it. I don't know why they put that stupid thing on. Now, Beretta admittedly did it out of tradition. I think the 92 series has it, but it does serve a purpose, and that is this. This gun was not technically built for concealed carry, although I've been concealing it just fine. And before anybody asks what holster, it's an old stealth gear that I modify for every gun I get until I can get a holster for it. So, but that pin sticking up serves a purpose. When that's pressed, that means that your striker block is being released. So let's say you were in a military or a law enforcement situation and you're shooting, or your gun's out or whatever, and that trigger pin or striker block safety pin is up, but the trigger isn't reset or has not been engaged. That means your striker block safety isn't working, and you probably should break the gun down and take a look at the internals. So you want to make sure those safeties actually work. Guys, I don't know if I have missed anything. Down the road, look for videos. I might even show you how to change the frame out. It wasn't that big a deal. I did it fairly quickly. The back straps, I already did. The reversible magazine, or magazine drop, I already did that as well. Guys, I can't think of anything else, looking down at the magazines here, of what I could have missed. The compact version of this is already out. It's got a 13 round magazine. The Centurion is coming soon. It's going to ship in June or July, Beretta says, which is the Glock 19 size. I think that one is going to sell like crazy. So I'm anxious to see that one come out. I have mentioned several times I would be an owner of the Centurion, but I don't know. You know, I've got the SIG P365, which is running perfect. It's got 12+1 in the extended mag, so I've got 13 rounds in it. This bumps me up to 17 or 21 if I have the extended. I don't know if I need a gun in between there. I've got a really small concealed carry gun. I've got a big duty gun I can use for home defense, range work, classes, you know, and whatever. So guys, that's it. That is the Beretta APX. It is definitely my favorite striker gun of all time. It rose above my VP9. Sorry guys, I love H&K, but I just made a connection with this gun and I absolutely love it. So the Beretta APX, if you haven't shot one, I highly encourage you guys to check it out. It's a very, very soft shooter. It's got so many features that Beretta included that it's just an awesome gun in my opinion. So if you like this video, hit the like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't. Always appreciate the support, guys. Thank you very much. Just as a public service reminder, the serrations do work, and they work really, really well on the Beretta APX.